Listen, sometimes we just need to take our stubborn black asses to a damn therapist.
I'm the librarian, and I came to read.
A lot of the black community is under the impression that,
oh girl, black people don't have no mental problems, girl. We ain't crazy like these white people running around here shooting up buildings and shit.
Granted, yes, some white people may do some crazy ass shit, but let's not forget about the shit that we love to ignore, girl. If your arm was damn broken and hanging off your shoulder, you would take your ass to a hospital, wouldn't you? But for some reason, we find it so difficult to seek mental help when we need it. So I'm gonna go into why that is and discuss some of my story. Now, if you don't believe that mental issues do arise in the black community, let me read you some damn statistics from the US Census, girl. 13.2% of the US population identified as black or African American. Of those, over 16% had diagnosable mental illnesses in the past year, and that 16% converts to 6.8 million people. And the graph I have here says that that is more than the population of Chicago, Houston, and Philadelphia combined, bitch. According to the Health and Human Services Office of Minority Health, African Americans are 20%, listen to me, 20% more likely to experience serious mental health problems than the general population. Okay, bitch, so all of this pretending and ignoring the issues needs to go out the goddamn window, bitch. We are at higher risk for mental illnesses. Let me tell you something, and these illnesses include major depression, ADHD, suicide among young African American men, but yet at the same time, these are the same demographics that are the most concerned about stigma when it comes to mental health. So while they're most at risk, they're the ones who are least likely to even acknowledge that these issues exist and to go get help. Another illness is PTSD. And listen to this, black and African American teenagers are more likely to attempt suicide than white teenagers. So while you hoes, especially some of you older black, super religious ass motherfucking black people, girl, you hoes talking about,
well girl, demon possession, girl, that's not no mental illness. You need to just slap him in his face, girl. There's no such thing as mental disorders.
I'm coming for your asses today. Now, I got some more information for you, especially regarding my personal experiences, you know, just dealing with the suicide of my best friend and what all of that stuff means. But for now, let me talk about why don't we go for treatment and what are the issues. Research has found, just as I said earlier, that many African Americans rely on faith, family, and social communities for emotional support. And they think all of that will suffice even though medical or therapeutic treatment may be necessary. Bitch, so why you over here talking about
God works in mysterious ways and oh, it's the Lord's will?
No, bitch, take your ass to a therapist. Get your shit together. If prayer worked like that, if it worked like Santa Claus, or if it worked like Aladdin and the Three Wishes, this Matthew hurricane would not be dragging the shit out of you Florida hoes right now. Y'all could have prayed that shit away. Listen, take care of yourself. I'm not knocking anyone's faith or religion, girl, whatever you want to be doing. But as I said earlier, if your eyes were about to fall out your goddamn socket, you would have taken your ass, you'd have prayed probably, but you would have still taken your ass to the hospital, wouldn't you? That's the same mind frame that we have to be in when it comes to our mental health. Well, first of all, a lot of us don't even like to go to the doctor, but even more so, we do not like to get mental help when we need it. And one of these factors that really impact why we don't go is the fact that we don't trust these people. We have socioeconomic factors. In 2012, 19% of African Americans had no form of health insurance, and the Affordable Care Act is making it easier and more affordable to get insured. So that's one of the reasons why our asses are not going. And I think this is one of the most important parts. There is a lack of African American mental health professionals, okay? Only 3.7% of the members in the American Psychiatric Association and 1.5% of the members in the American Psychological Association are African American. And the reason I say that is important is because if little Becky and John is sitting in front of you and trying to be your therapist, and yet they can't relate to you in the ways that matter, you're not gonna wanna take your ass and go, okay? And Dr. Clifford L. Broman of Michigan State University said, past research has indicated people with higher education levels are more likely to seek out and receive mental health services. However, that may be true for whites. It appears it is the opposite for young adult blacks. So the higher educated you are as a young black person, the less likely you are to go out and seek mental help when you need it. When I saw this, you can ask Justin J, I sent him the article. When I saw this, that completely dragged the entire shit out of me, because I think I'm some big boss in grad school and shit, but yet I am still apprehensive about going to see a therapist. And they said it's even more so. So like if you've already had treatment before, and on top of that, that you are highly educated and black, girl, it's highly likely that your ass will not be going back to the therapist. That's just how it is. That's the studies that have been done that have been proven that. And they completely clocked me, girl, because I have been in therapy before. I'm like, girl, I'm not going back to that shit. Another element that can play a part in why African Americans do not go and seek mental health is the stigma, the lack of knowledge, the lack of trust between your healthcare providers and yourself, and lack of cultural understanding. As I said before, if Becky with the good hair is sitting in front of you, girl, just not relating to any of the struggles or things that are going on in your black ass life, you're less likely to drive your ass to their damn office, pay their ass, and try to connect when you don't feel no goddamn connection. According to a study conducted by Ward, Wilshire, Detry, and Brown in 2013, that's all they last names, they researchers and shit, girl. Black/African Americans hold beliefs related to stigma, psychological openness, and help seeking, which in turn affects their coping behaviors. Generally speaking, the participants in the study were not very open to acknowledging psychological problems, blah, 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 blah. Let me translate that shit for you from academic to real tea. That's what I'm here for, bitch. I'm translating this academic shit into real tea. Essentially, they're saying that we have such a stigma against being helped, being open, and just talking about your emotions and shit like that, that prevents us from even acknowledging that there's a problem going on in our minds. And then from there, we can't even go on to seek help because we don't even fucking acknowledge the shit. This is key with y'all masculine asses. Y'all want to be masculine asses, bitch, trying to fit a fucking gender role. Black/African American men, this is what the study found, are particularly concerned about stigma. So as I said earlier, we know that black men are at higher risk to attempting suicide than white men or white adolescents. But yet black men are the most concerned with the stigma that surrounds mental issues and mental health, girl. We're the ones that need it most, and yet we're the ones who most concerned about the goddamn stigma, the shit that does not matter, girl. So I say that to say this. Recently, one of my best friends, I'm talking about, I used to sleep at his house all the time. He committed suicide. Now, while he may not have been black, he was still a minority with his cute Spanish ass. I still want to raise awareness and make sure everyone checks up on themselves. I think the reason we connected, his name was Chris. I think the reason Chris and I connected so much was because we were both kind of struggling from the same things. I did not realize it at that point. I think our relationship was great except for the unhealthy parts where we kind of fed off of each other's depression. As I said, I didn't realize what the fuck was going on. I just felt comfortable and happy, and I felt a sense of relief whenever I went into his apartment because it was just like, I'm away from the rest of the world, and all we did was play video games and act stupid. But one night he seemed happier than usual. So I thought, hey, everything is fine. But he seemed really happy, and that's when it happened. My friend, who's a health professional, told me that a lot of times when people are just about to commit suicide, they're very happy because they feel like, okay, well, I now have my answer. I've made my decision already, so I'm free. And that's why they get so joyous. So maybe people who are from the outside looking in and they know that that person has been suffering from depression, they see them get happy all of a sudden, they think that, oh, okay, they're better now. All of a sudden they've made a great change, but that's not the case, because usually that means that they have made a decision to leave this earth. As I said, I lived at Chris's house. Like, ain't no games around here, bitch. I had my clothes all over his fucking apartment, my book bag, I'm talking about pillows and shit. Like, I lived at his house for months, and then he committed suicide, and I think that shit shook me to my core, to the point where I can't even express how much pain I was and currently am in. But I felt like I had to keep on pushing, bitch. I had to keep on pushing. Bitch, I'm in grad school. I don't have no time to waste, bitch. I had papers are due. I had tests to take. So I kept going, kept pushing, until one day I just broke the fuck down, crying my eyes out. I went to see a therapist on my campus, and that kind of helped me for a little bit. But when the semester ended, I stopped going, and the therapist did tell me that it would be invasive, and sometimes you feel worse coming out of a session than you did going in, because they're just uprooting all the feelings that you, and especially me, bitch, I like to hide my feelings. I push them hoes away. I give you a show, so I put off. That's my method of coping, which is completely unhealthy. I cope by overworking. I cope by staying fucking busy, staying busy to the point where it's kind of overwhelming. So the point of me making this video is just to reach out to people who probably are in a situation like I am in, or worse. I currently do not want to take my ass back to no goddamn therapist. I'm being honest, but I'm hoping my video will encourage someone to go. And I know that seems strange, but I just want to be transparent. I do not want to take my ass to a therapist. Becky with the good hair looking at me, girl, so what's the tea? Girl, bitch, do I really have to talk about my shit over and over again, girl? I'm so sick of it. I lived it once already. I don't want to do it again. But my mom and everyone else around me is saying that it's healthy. Studies are showing that it's healthy to have a mental professional in your life. I think everyone should have one, but especially if you've gone through something traumatic. But yeah, my mom is on me like, you need to go back, you need to go back. I'm just like, I don't know. But Adrian Army, if there's anyone just watching my videos, you feel like shit is hitting the fan, you feel like you want to fly away, bitch, you do not want to be here no more. If you feel like, bitch, why the fuck am I doing this shit? I want to just lay down on this motherfucking concrete and go to sleep forever. Take your ass and go see someone, bitch. Just because I don't have the strength right now to do it doesn't mean that you should not. Go do it. Get your life in order, bitch. I want all of the Adrian Army to be healthy as fuck. And one day, maybe I'll take my dumb ass and go back and solve the issues that are obviously fucking with me. I feel like the anxiety and depression comes in waves with me. Right now, I'm cool and fine and dandy, but in a couple weeks, I could have a horrible day where I feel like the world is ending. I want you to realize all these smiles and laughs and jokes and shade and tea, all the shit that you see is just one side of me, girl. I have been through some crazy ass shit that I'm gonna try and start talking more about as my channel progresses. I just really felt this was needed at this time, especially considering I think Kid Cudi put himself into some type of rehab or something because of his depression, I think it was. Y'all can look that up and correct me, but we as black people especially, we need to take this shit more seriously, girl. It's not a white problem. White people are crazy, yes, bitch. I like some of y'all white people though. I'm just kidding, but we have issues as well, so we should not ignore them and act like this shit doesn't exist, girl. Get your ass some help! So yeah, this is a journey that we're all going through together. Some of us are at different stages, but as long as we are moving forward, that's the whole point. Do not sit your ass down when there are resources available and disappear from the earth because you feel like no one cares, girl. I want you to do everything in your power to stay alive, okay? And from the king of crop tops, first of his name, the librarian, and the stealer of fathers, I'll see you next time.